Hi, friends, and welcome to Self Meets Soul, a podcast where we discuss how to discover what sets your soul on fire and modern ways to integrate spirituality into your daily life. My name is Juliana, and in today's episode, we're going to be chatting about how to honor yoga practices on and off the mat. Our guest today is a healer and yoga teacher who inspires those around him to connect with their body and breath in a busy, fast-paced world. Leo Luna is here to share his story. Welcome to the show, Leo.
Thank you for having me, Juliana. It's such a pleasure being here.
Yes, happy to have you. So before we get into today's topic, I want to know what is something that lights up your soul?
Something that lights up my soul, honestly, it's something that I discovered here in Phoenix. It's being around community, like-minded people. You know, when you're doing something that you're passionate about with people that are in the same mindset as you, it just propels you and gives you like this almost like abundant energy that fuels you up, and you're doing the thing when you don't think about it, and then when you bring it to awareness, you're like, wow, like I just have all this abundant energy and like motivation to just keep doing what you're doing. I'm from the East Coast, New York, New Jersey. It's kind of a cold part of the States. And I wasn't really used to the way things are in Phoenix. And I guess I just didn't find my tribe. So I always felt very lethargic, very tired. But here in Phoenix, like, yeah, I'm tired, but like I feel lit up. So community, doing something you're passionate about.
Do you feel like it took you a while to find your community here? Or was it pretty like kismet?
I would say things kind of flowed the way they were supposed to. It wasn't easy at first because it was my first time living outside my parents' place, and let alone going to the complete opposite of the United States.
That's a big move,
From
a brave move.
City, shore, and then to a desert. I'm like, okay, I need to really put myself out there. So honestly, I put myself out there by just trying new things. Yoga was one of them, something that I was curious about for a long time. And I didn't find the community right away. It almost presented itself. I had substitutes that came to class, and then they invited me to their events. And then kind of like a trickle effect, network effect, spiderweb effect, whatever you want to call it. I just met like-minded people little by little. And up until now, I just kept showing up. I kept putting myself out there. And in the beginning, coming from the East Coast, it was a little hard to come out of my shell.
Yeah.
But now I feel like little by little, when you find your people, you start to really find yourself amidst it all. And
That's such a good point that someone invited you to things like these substitute teachers in classes and you actually showed up, because that I think is the hardest part of just making community in general. Putting yourself out there, like you said, because it can be really scary, especially like,
yeah,
I don't know. I know I like to do things with one other person. Typically, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this event, but I'm going to try and bring a friend. So I feel like I have that safety net there with me, that comfort. But when you're moving from somewhere completely new, you don't have that. So you just have to continuously put yourself in those situations and then start building the community from there.
Yeah, and always start small. Like, don't go to like a big event by yourself. It kind of starts with just going to like a yoga class or going to like something low key, and then eventually build your way to like going to bigger events or bigger groups. Because honestly, like even to this day, I'm a little scared too. Because
Same.
I'm to my heart, I'm an introvert, but I am fueled by being around people, but not necessarily like being social. If that makes sense.
It does. It does.
But yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I was going to say in general, so how did yoga first come into your life? You mentioned you were curious about it and then you really got into it when you moved here, but how did you first get into that?
Yeah, I knew about yoga back in the East Coast. It's kind of like when you see like things are just kind of mainstream. I thought it was for middle-aged white women.
That's fair. We're going to get into that.
Like, I thought it was just for a single demographic. I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. It's not for me. But there was something about being able to like put myself in poses that felt challenging in a way, but also there's something inside of me that also likes to do stuff against the status quo. I'm like, I want to do that because it's a little different. That's just me.
That's your
And
masculine drive right there.
yeah, it's almost like I'm on a mission to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the black sheep of the family, to be honest.
Mm.
So yeah, so when I came out here, I got a flyer for like yoga in Phoenix, which is no longer a thing. But my job allowed me to have a gym membership, and my gym offered yoga classes, LA Fitness. So I did it, and like obviously it felt great. But I think what felt great about it was not only did my body feel like more relaxed, but my mind felt relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I come from a STEM background. I've had undiagnosed ADHD up until I moved here when I actually got benefits and I got, checked out. I have ADHD. So
Part of the
my,
adults who've discovered it. I feel like there's a handful of people I know who don't find out till like their mid to late 20s.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that a combination of things, it's just my mind is always on. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of us now in this modern day. So just having this practice that I call it now, uh, back then I just called it a stretch and a workout. But yeah, over
Mm-hmm.
time I had substitute that came in, brought in the spiritual aspect, which I really ate up. It was really something that I think was dormant inside of me. And Phoenix just allowed it to blossom and just expand into this kind of literally like a blossom. It was just something that I kept watering the more I
Yeah.
kept going to yoga, meeting like minded people, and just doing things that I felt aligned to do.
You mentioned too, like you kind of ate up the spiritual aspect of that, which I resonate with that because that's how I got into this entire world was starting off in yoga and then hearing things in class. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then
Yeah.
kind of going into that. So
Yeah.
were you kind of in the spiritual world before? Was it more so religion or were you, like, did yoga bring that into your life?
I think I've always been a spiritual person without even knowing that it was me being spiritual, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Even when I was younger, I would take time to just be alone, but to kind of like take everything in and kind of appreciate things from a deeper level rather than just kind of stop and smell the roses kind of guy. Just meditate on things because spirituality can go into a lot of different like avenues. Religious, my family is Catholic. I guess I call myself Catholic. I'm not super like religious, but I would say I'm a very spiritual person. I do believe there's a higher power, not as a single entity, but things around us. Things happen for a reason. I think being able to have something, almost something to strive towards, almost like a feeling of hope, which I feel is the spiritual part about me that I've always had inside of me. There's always something to keep pushing forward to and something to work towards. And I always feel thankful that I have that inside of me to just keep me going despite, hardships, trials, tribulations along the way. Um, and I've always felt that as a young
Mhm.
kid. So, and I still carry that with me now. And now that, when I got into the yoga world, um, there's just parallels with the way my ways of thinking growing up. So now I kind of integrate them.
It was like
So
putting a name to it almost like, oh, this is something that I've always like felt and thought and there's other people who also
yes,
work
yes.
this way.
And then, yeah, not only like putting a name to it, but there's also people that think the same way. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of like opens your eye to like more like information, ways of thinking, and just, um, yeah.
Right. Awesome. So you really got into your practice. You said it started off like workout, stretch, things like that. It became a practice for you. At what point did you decide to take it a step further and become a yoga teacher?
Yeah. So I practice. So actually, I'm kind of young in the space. I started practicing yoga when I moved here in 2022. Yeah, in the beginning, it was just, a workout session, a stress session, but then it became something deeper the more I learned more about the philosophy behind it, the spiritual aspect, the community around it. And the more I went to class, the more I was like, what if I teach this? I'm like, nah, I can't do that. Like, no, that's not me. And at the same time, I was working my engineering job here, which I moved out here for. And that's a different story. But long story short, once I graduated, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this the rest of my life. So yoga kind of kept me aware of the spot that I was in. I was in Phoenix because of my job, but I knew that I had this practice to kind of bring me to myself and slow down. Because if I didn't have the practice, I think at the time I would have just been focused on work and work and work.
Mm-hmm.
But taking those yoga sessions for me allowed me to kind of take that time back to myself. But eventually, fast forward to 2023, I did leave my job and then I was still practicing yoga. So I was like, you know what? I'll do the yoga teacher training. I kind of did the opposite of what people do. I left my job first and then I thought of what to do along the way.
Oh, I envy you people because I want to be able to do that because there's so many people like you who do still find success in that.
The Aquarius in me was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Let me out.
Right. I feel that.
Yeah.
That's my moon.
Yeah. So
I don't want to do this anymore.
Did that. Don't get me wrong. Like it was hard and scary and I cried a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of emotions and I was open to it. But yoga is the one thing that kept me grounded. So I did the teacher training. After that, like once I tore up my first class, things changed for me. I was like, wow, I feel like I was born to do this.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. Now I'm just like, I just keep the momentum going, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
From your YTT, I know it's probably a minute ago. If you asked me this question, I don't think I'd have an answer. But
okay.
What is something that really stuck with you in YTT? Whether it's like the asanas or like the spiritual aspect of things or the mental, the breath, anything like that.
Yeah. The fact that it's so ancient, the fact that this is like something that our people way before our time were doing, and the fact that we still do it now shows a lot of how much reverence and like how much respect we should have for the practice. And not to say that it shouldn't be modernized, it should still have the root of the philosophies, the values, honestly just the whole system, like the history and the philosophy behind it. It just adds more depth to it.
Definitely.
Pilates doesn't have that. Working out doesn't have it. It doesn't have a culture, but the history and like philosophies don't have that. And I love just fantastical elements and like storytelling and just like thinking of like just using my imagination. During YTT, we had some instructors that like brought storytelling to the asanas that we do today and the meanings behind them. And that I ate up. And it was a lot of information for 3 months.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a lot of deep learning. That's funny you mentioned Pilates because I took a Pilates class today and I was thinking about that. All I know about Pilates is that there was a man, I think his name is Joseph.
Okay.
Joseph Pilates, who started it for people in prisons. Like he was in jail. So that's like the cool thing I know about Pilates, but I definitely don't think it's anywhere near like as old and stuff like that as yoga is. So that's a good point too. I've never thought about like there's nothing really as old as it. Like, in that terms of a physical practice.
It's almost like magical in a way. Like magic. And magic I like to kind of keep ambiguous because it's like I don't really want to learn more about magic. I kind of want to keep it kind of like ambiguous and mysterious because it's fun.
It's kind of like the Disneyland in you, huh? They have the Disney magic where you can't know things.
I don't want to.
Like,
I don't want to see
the magic.
I don't want to see Mickey with his head.
Right. Like, I don't want to know. So going more into yoga, what are some things that people typically misunderstand the most about yoga, or some misconceptions people might have?
I would say that it's like a religion or like a cult. It's none of those. It's something that you are called to do. And I think being invited to a class and like trying it for yourself is definitely the big step. It's the big barrier of entry, I would say. Don't knock it till you try it. As an instructor, we're here to guide you. We're not here to reel you in. We want to invite you to kind of try this out for yourself and see if you have any resonance or you're called to do it more. Because for some people, it's just stretching, and that's fine. For some people, it's a bit deeper. For some people, it's an avenue for them to kind of like grow into themselves. That it's only about being flexible. You don't have to be flexible to.
Yes, that's such a big one. People always are like, anytime I tell people I'm a yoga teacher, yes, time. And I'm like,
hold up.
I'm like, it's literally not about that at all. Like, you will become more flexible as you like take class, but you don't need to be to do it.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of. It's just No, you're right.
Yeah.
You don't need to be flexible. I would say yoga is more like the poses are kind of like almost like a guide, like a vehicle to guide you to your breath, to regulate your breath.
Yeah.
Because without the breath, yoga, I mean, it loses part of its meaning, its purpose. It's to guide your breath has a very profound effect on the body, physiological. It's more of like, if I tell them, if you're not flexible, just focus on doing your best, whatever you want to do, but focus on your breath. You can be in child's pose, you can be doing like a triangle pose, whatever you want to do, whatever comes with, just be aware of your breath.
Because that was the hardest part for me getting into yoga was I completely ignored, the whole class you're cueing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, the whole class. And I never paid attention to the teacher when I first started because it felt so uncomfortable to like breathe at like that pace and pay attention to it. Yeah. And I feel like but that is like the purpose, like you're saying, of yoga. So that's more, it takes time,
It takes time for sure. Honestly, I'll be honest, I held my breath for some poses. Yes. I held my breath and like, don't hold your breath. I'm like, oh. Yeah. And one thing I actually learned in YTT, I was breathing the opposite of the way I should. When you inhale, you fill up the belly, right? Exhale goes down. I was doing the opposite. So I inhaled and my belly sucked in. Oh. When I exhaled, my belly like went out. So turns out I was shallow breathing a lot. And I was doing that a lot growing up. And on top of that, I have a deviated septum. So I breathed at 60% capacity. So pretty much I was like not functioning correctly.
This man was not getting full oxygen at any time.
And I still have a deviated septum, but the yoga, so like now I guess I'm at baseline.
And I would argue that it's one of the few workout classes where your teacher genuinely does not care if you don't do what they say or if you lay down for a certain pose or whatever. Because I feel like in group fitness in general, which yoga still falls under, like there's this feeling from the student, like, oh my gosh, like if I stop, then like other people will notice, when really other people aren't paying attention to you because they're fighting for their life probably and whatever thing they're doing. Yeah. But also like the teacher doesn't care because like you were saying, it truly is your practice, and that it really is supposed to be that type of space where like you can do whatever you want. So if your teacher says, because I've seen that on TikTok too, where people are like, oh, you know how yoga teachers say, like, you don't even have to do anything I say today. That's not true. I don't believe it. It is true. Like, genuinely.
It is. Yes. And we're here to make you feel like you're not being judged. Like, you're here to be in the space. We're here to hold space for you. If you just want to lay down because you've had a long day and just need somewhere to do it, that's fine. We're here to, make you feel like you're seen in a way, but like not seen where like, oh, like I'm not doing it right. Like, yeah. Like we see your effort. We see you want to try. We see you want to be here for some reason. It could be any reason.
And that, you chose to be here because there's so many other places you could be. You could be at home on your couch, on your phone. Like there's so many other things to do.
There is a story that a teacher told me about this one person that went to class but didn't do any of the poses. She's laid in Shavasana, child's pose, restorative poses. And then one day the instructor told the student is like, oh, like, I see that you're in restorative poses and all that. I'm just curious, why. I don't really care about doing the poses. I do enjoy your guidance, your voice, the way you lead the class. I love listening to it while I relax. That's what she said. So that means a lot because each instructor has a presence that they hold for their class. So if someone wants to just be in the presence of an instructor, that says a lot about the instructor and like the practice itself. Most places are like, you're not doing work, like, pushing you. We're here to like let you know that it's optional if you want to push yourself to your edge.
Definitely. And I feel like there is a different kind of peace in just laying on a mat in that group class, in that room.
Yeah.
Than laying in your bed. Yeah. Laying in your bed is also nice and peaceful, but there's a different kind of like energy to it. Like your mat itself like you set up your mat as an intentional space of like, I roll out this mat and I'm on it, and like I'm breathing intentionally, I'm slowing down, I'm being present. Like there's stuff underneath that.
Yes. Yeah. Like you said, there's a reason why people say reserve class and they go versus, oh, I'm just going to go home. They want to be around like-minded people, a community, to be under the instructor's presence.
Totally. So
maybe take a nap. I don't
know.
Like whatever it is they want to do.
Whatever they want to do. Awesome. So moving forward, so how can people integrate yoga type practices, yoga philosophies off of their mat, away from just the poses?
Yeah. I mean, in yoga, we're told to obviously keep our breath consistent and not hold it in, just keep a nice continuous breath, but also drishti, focus in these hard poses that we do. Like say we're like head to knee pose where we have our leg in the air. You're training your mind to focus amidst what your body is screaming into, like, oh my God, like I'm about to fall, but you have that focus. So if you apply that to everyday life, you're in traffic, you're like, you think you're in like a dire situation at work, but you're focused on, I don't know, whatever it may be. That type of focus and brings calmness, and calmness brings your ability to make rational decisions. Like you're not fight or flight. And then with that, when you're able to make rational decisions, you're more content with what you decide to do. And then, I don't know, I feel like that brings you peace. Granted, like that's not going to work all the time, but you start to build like a stronger foundation for yourself underneath it all. Like focus, calm, peace. You know that everything's going to be okay. The breath, applying that to stressful situations, the breath will keep your heart rate at a normal level.
Yeah. And it's accessible. It's always there. But we forget about it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So we're getting into some of the touchier subjects now. So I love how you mentioned that at the beginning, you first thought yoga was for middle-aged white women. And that is what we see a lot in the space. But if we're even going deeper into an instructor level, you really see even less people of color as yoga instructors. So how has your experience been being a POC instructor in a predominantly white space, which yoga in general, not your studio per se, but like in the grand scheme?
It definitely does feel different being a male Latino yoga instructor. In the beginning, it was kind of tough because not only was I like a person of color, I was also like very young in the space. So I almost felt like people didn't take me seriously in the beginning. So I tried to get my reps in where I could, and I did. I started out in gyms because, like they're in studios. I've been to studios asking if they're looking for instructors, and they like you to be a part of the community so they can see who you are. So in the beginning, studios were not really a option in the beginning because it takes time to build that rep. So in the gyms, people were like, who is this kid? Like, he's going to teach yoga? I'm like, yeah. I just felt that feeling. And I go with my gut, and I'm like, I'm just going to do my thing. And little by little, people start to just gain trust in me.
So do you feel like you had more of a barrier than when it came to your age rather than feeling different because of your race? And even gender, because I didn't even think about that. Like there's even less, at least here, male yoga teachers, I feel like.
Age for sure.
Yeah.
Age, yes. Color, some places, yes. Sometimes I feel like, different races were considered before my race. But it's not direct. It's not direct, obviously.
No, you just learn how to pick up on those things throughout, life and experiences.
I've learned to accept it. Yeah. You're the one who has to make that impact for the people of your color, your race, and show that other people can do it too. And that's why I do what I do, because anyone could become a yoga teacher. It's really your intentions and like your drive to hold space for people. More importantly, I think it's about the way you hold space. and anyone could hold space. Don't let your color, your age, your gender like hold you back. If you want to do it, then do it.
And then you'll just be one more person in that space too, because I feel like I I liked that aspect of it, with knowing like when I would be a student going to another teacher, like there were I feel like I never had any black teachers here when I started. And my first studio I went to was a studio owned by a black woman, and she like wanted to hire like only POC instructors, so that kind of built a community. But what she learned was there were so many students who were looking for that kind of space,
Yeah.
because they didn't feel as comfortable in these like corporate yoga studio traditional white spaces.
Yeah.
So it gives you an opportunity to like, even though it can be uncomfortable and hard and you're like, did I get passed up because of this or this, like it's knowing that when you walk into that, someone will walk into your class and be like, oh my gosh, like so cool, like my instructor today is a guy, or he's Latino, or you know, like
Yeah.
how fun.
I think what really locked it in for me was urban yoga. And the community is just very diverse. Like you have different walks of life coming in through those doors, and it's just very like inviting to just kind of be myself. And you know, the community really helped to kind of accept like, yeah, I'm a little bit different than everyone, but that doesn't change the way that it shouldn't change the way I act around people. And if it's not accepted anywhere else, I could easily just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can't make people accept you. But
Yeah, and your studio is one of the, because you know I've been in the scene here for a while now, and it is one of the fewer studios that is like way more diverse, I would say. So that's good that you got that experience with YTT, because I'll just name drop it because they're in a bunch of heat anyways, because I got my YTT through Core Power. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't come for me. But
Don't come for her. I'll come for you.
Yeah, but
we're just here trying to bring good in the world, and I feel like being like having color, race, or age be like some predominant factor to like deter someone from becoming a teacher or wanting to hold space is ridiculous. Like if your attention's there, then by all means go for it.
Which leads me to my next question, even going beyond that. So how do you think, and you did kind of touch on this earlier too, but how has the commercialization, the westernization, the modernization of yoga impacted the practice, in your opinion?
I mean, I saw yoga through like media, and it was just, like I said, middle-aged white women wearing tight clothes,
Wearing aloe.
wearing aloe. The fact that you need to be like hit a criteria or a prerequisite to even do yoga, like you don't have to be flexible. You don't need to wear the latest pair from aloe or like Lululemon. You don't even need to be spiritual. You can just take the practice as is. Like yoga is for everyone. And I mean, even what you're wearing, as long as you're comfortable in what you're wearing, that shouldn't hold you back from taking a yoga class. I've done yoga in like baggy jeans and I've been fine. You're like, oh,
That and like doing yoga
okay,
in
but
jeans.
accidentally, I lost track of time and I forgot to pack an extra set of clothes because I thought I was going to come back home. So I was like, shoot, if I go home, I'm going to be late to class. So I just showed up in baggy jeans. I'm like, oh God, this is not going to turn out well. But you know what?
But you showed up.
It was fine. I thought it was going to be way worse than it was. Would I do it again? No. But it just goes to show, like, there should be no barrier of entry for yoga, you know?
Yep. And you don't need to be able to do like the coolest poses. And I know everyone says that, but like there are so many poses that I cannot do as a yoga teacher. Like I can't do a handstand. I can do a headstand,
Yeah.
but I can't do a handstand.
Those are more difficult, yes. But yeah, that's another thing. I feel like commercialization for yoga has gotten a lot better, just because it's more open, I feel. Back then, I feel like it wasn't that it was trying not to be open, but it just didn't feel accessible. I felt like you had to be a part of this like club or something to like do yoga. But now it just feels very accessible to everyone. There's
so many studios.
A lot of studios. I'm not really sure what the scene was like back then, but there's studios all around. It's just a matter of finding like your people, like how you feel in that environment, the vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, which you'll know. You'll know when you walk into the studio, and you'll feel that vibe soon. And also, I feel like the bodies that can do yoga, because I think not only is it
Yes,
like
that's another one.
Lululemon,
Right.
it's like you need to be skinny in order to do yoga, and if you show up not skinny, then what are you doing there? Everyone's
Yes.
judging you.
That hence the fact yoga is for everyone. You know, you shouldn't let body shape, color keep you from doing the practice.
Well, thanks so much again, Leo, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So where can the listeners connect with you?
Yeah, I'm very active on social media. I'm active on Instagram. You can follow me, Leo Luna 131, and then that's mostly where I spend my time. And then a cross post to my Facebook. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's just my name. You can follow me there. I do have a second account for my artist brand, my other persona. It's Luna Sana. It's Luna, 2 underscores, and then SAN.
I'll put those in the show notes. Perfect. Well, that's all that I have for you today, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. If you like this episode, please be sure to leave a review and share this podcast. You never know who in your life might resonate with it. Chat with you later.